All right, on the bench today, out of a 2012 Chevy Tahoe with a 5.3, we have the 6L80 transmission. This also is a four-wheel drive, and we have 171,000 miles on the clock. And this has your typical problem that we see a lot with the 6L80s is a clogged filter, which would mean no movement when it gets hot. I mean, to be honest with you, we had this car was towed in, the wholesale account towed it in, and we put it in the backyard. You know, we just made it in the backyard, but then I had to move it around in the front for the transmission to come out. We're going to be doing cooler lines on it too. I have those coming, but I made it around, and honestly, I had to shut it off a few times for this thing to move. So when you shut it off, the filter kind of backwashes, all the crap comes out. Let it sit for 2 minutes, you start it up again, you'll be able to move until it clogs again, and then that's it, you're dead. So we're gonna open this, probably gonna find a bunch of crap in the pan. Very common for these converters to go bad. I mean, this thing, I'm assuming we're gonna probably find, I'm thinking, you know, what I usually see when these transmissions go like this, and you know, maybe they just kind of keep driving, try to get to where they go. The 4, 5, 6 clutch usually is toast, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch usually is toast. The last two I did had to replace clutches and steels. You know, they burned out pretty good. Pressure plates, snap rings, everything you got to get. But I got a lot of spare parts to these things, thank God. So, because we do a ton of them. I just finished 2 of them, and now this is another one. I also try to keep keep machine bell housings in stock. I send a few bell housings in the stators out to a machinist in Georgia. I box it up, ship it UPS. He exchanges them and ships it back to me, and by the time they get back here, they're accounted for, and I got to ship them 2 or 3 more, and it's constant going back and forth with the bell housings. But they work real nice. I mean, the things are like glass when they're done. This is a different style bell housing. You know, this is the single hole, but the common bell housing has 2 holes here and here, and I don't want to lose that bell housing because I have probably about 4 of them. So I do have one of these machines. I keep only one of these machines because I don't see too many of those. The other ones I have like 4. So I do have one that I can show you. But the things come out beautiful. All right, so enough of that. So let's let me get a little closer. We'll tear this thing down and see what we find. Okay. All right, so first I'm gonna take all the bell housing bolts out except for 2. Then we're gonna swing it around, get the extension housing off, flip it, get the pan off, and filter and valve body. Let me take the O-ring off for the lockup torque converter. I just broke for the lockup torque converter. All right, now let's get these bolts out here. Go ahead and get this extension housing off. Use a 15 swivel for this. Let's get closer to the edge to get these out. Okay. Let's flip this. And what I'm going to do, take the pan valve body off. I'm just going to put the pan back on with a couple of bolts. Then put it back up to get the bell housing off. This way it'll slide off much easier. So this thing was pretty bad. Okay. Alright, fluid smells definitely burnt. There is the pan. This one actually is not that bad. Let me just dump some of this oil out so I don't make a mess. This pan actually is not that bad for what I'm kind of used to seeing. I mean, sometimes these things are loaded, but this one's not that bad. But still, couldn't even make it from the back to the front without shutting it off a few times. Alright, filter. Filter's got a bunch of crap on it too. There's the oil from there. Okay. Now we're going to get the pass-through out. So we'll pick that up. Hopefully this thing will come out without much of a problem. There we go. This will get new seals. Alright, I'm going to take the detent off. And now we use our Torx Plus socket. 6 of bolts hold the valve body in place. Okay. These are all the same size, so it doesn't really matter. All the same. All right, so this will just lift right out. Put this aside. Okay. There's your speed sensors in the back here, range switch, and your Techum, which is the computer. All right, seals for the case here. All right, now we're going to put the hand back on with 2 bolts and stand this up to get the bell housing off. Just go a little easier. Actually, I have this one, this 6L80. I have another one that has a converter shatter that I got coming in, but I explained to the guy that I have bell housings coming, that I machined them, and I don't have them yet. And it, you know, so I just said keep driving the car. So he'll probably bring that. I should have them within a couple of days, and then I'll call him to bring the car in. Because it would just sit here. Because I'm not going to do the job without doing that. Okay. Take the other 2 15s out. Okay, here's a pump O-ring. All right. All right, so this stator here, this is an early, this, no, I'm sorry, I am wrong. No, this is very weird. It has, no, it's not. Okay, well, wait a minute here. Let me take this ring off. Let me see something. All right, so this actually has the non-rotational rings on it, but the tabs are broken, and this ring was spinning around. This one is okay, and this one also was broken. Wow, I've never really seen that before with these rings. So the stator is the updated stator, but it looks like all of these are spinning. I don't have, I have my kids coming tonight, but I'm not going to change the stator because there's no need to the updated one because it has the tabs, but all the tabs are broken on these, so the rings are going to spin, and they, you know, they're supposed to be, they updated this because when before the rings were spinning was causing flared shifts. So they did updates and put these little notches in here. So I'm just going to make sure that these are okay unless this maybe is worn. If not, I do have spare stators. It's questionable. I'm going to put new rings on it and see how it works. All right, so we're going to open this later. Let's get this set out. And like I said, 4, 5, 6 clutches are smoked. That's what happens because you don't have the pressure rise that you need. 1, 2, 3, 4s look okay, but we're going to go through all this. So this I'm going to need probably a snap ring. I got steels. I figured I was going to need steels, which I actually have coming. All right, so here is the hub for the 4, 5, 6, and we have a bearing here. Bearing here. And these tabs face down, so this goes in like that. All right, let's get the other clutch hooked out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have a bearing on that. Tab faces down. Okay, and another bearing here, which goes actually in the back of the 3-5 reverse hub. Goes inside, I should say, 3-5 reverse. It goes in here like that. So all these bearings will keep together. Okay, turn this on its side. We've got a big snap ring in there. We're going to take the pan off now. I don't need to have that on anymore. Okay, and then let's see if we can get these out with these big pliers here made for these 6L80, 6L90s to get this gasket, molded gasket, but in the garbage. Okay, so let's see how easy this is going to come out. Not bad. Look at that. Doesn't always happen that way sometimes, but it came out. There it is, and the bevel faces up. All right. Hoping that will come right out. Let me pull this out here. Just trying to steady this so it comes out. There we go. Center support, 2/6 clutch and low reverse clutch. Let me get the rear planet out. Okay, all right, so we have a bearing here. Very important on this, there's a lip, and the lip has to face down into the sun gear. You know, you may think it fit both ways because it will fit this way. And what's going to happen if you put this in wrong, you're not going to be able to seat the bell housing against the case. There's going to be like that much of a gap, and it'll never seat because this is keeping it up. So this got to make sure this bearing goes correctly with the lip down. All right, so this plated here, this won't come apart. I got to pull a snap ring out and pull the ring gear and stuff out. So I'm just leave it here for now. And here's another bearing in between the park gear and the case. So right now the case is stripped. Out of the way. We're going to open up this pump now. This is bell housing. Now, you know, actually, let me get rid of some of this oil. Let me just get organized here. Give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so first I just want to get these bolts out here. All right, this is for the stator because I'm going to be changing this this piece here, this stator. So I want the support. So I'll get those bolts out. I got to press this out. Now let's just get the pump. See what that looks like. Let me just say, when you put these, but if you ever change this, there's a gasket under here and an O-ring that I changed that comes in the kit. So I press it out. You know, it kind of goes in. There's a nice chamfer. I grease everything up real good, maybe some STP. And then sometimes I use like a dead blow hammer, and I can give it a couple of shots, or you can even press it down and it'll go down. And then when you put these bolts in, you know, what was happening is I would put these bolts in and maybe torque them down to, you know, just say 100 inch-pounds or something without any Loctite, and I had a couple come back on me where these bolts actually were coming loose. So I do them now, you know, I tighten them pretty tight, and I put it like a dab of blue Loctite on it, and ever since then I've never really had much of an issue. Alright, so let's take this out. This actually is not bad, but every one of them gets it anyway. And I'm going to take the pressure brake valve out and see what we have. So here is the pump here. Alright, so you know what? Let me just reposition, get more on top of the pump so you can see it from the top. One second. Alright, so we're going to take this ring out, the centering ring, get all the vanes. Let's see how this looks. Okay, put these aside. A rotor. Here is another center rings. Rotor guide. Okay, this actually is not bad, but I find if you don't change them, you may have problems with a chattering converter. So every one of them gets it. Okay, a little pry bar missing, so let's get one of these. All right, we'll take the spring out here with the slide. Okay, there's the spring, and then we have the slide. We got the slide seals here. Also, there is a ring, an O-ring under here, and the pivot pin. Okay, so every one of them not only gets a new bell housing, it also gets a new bushing. And when I get these bell housings back, I automatically knock the bushings in. And then once I order the converter and get it here, I make sure the bushing fits good. Okay, let's get the snap ring out. That's for the front. Okay, all right, so that's the bell housing. This we can put aside. All right, let's take a look. Got our 3/5 reverse, 1, 2, 3, 4 drum. All right, and again, we have a blind spline here. So this is where the opening of the snap ring has to go. And if you don't put it that way, as soon as you put this thing into drive, it'll pop right out or reverse. Okay, that's that. Okay, then we have the apply. And we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, which also on the opposite side has the blind spline. We got to put the opening of the snap ring there. Okay, and like I said, I always find the 4, 5, 6 and the 1, 2, 3, 4. So these steels are smoked, so the steels are getting changed. Okay, you want to make sure these wave steels are not cracked. Okay, also what I do, there is a bearing here with a seal, and this bearing comes in the kit. So, I like to change that, because I like to change this seal that's up here. So we kind of just get under here, we try to give it a little pry there, there. Okay, so it's only going to go so far. So now I get my seal puller. With the hook on it. And we'll knock it. So that's what that looks like, and that comes in the kit. Alright, so later I'm going to kind of open this up. I want to see if the piston in here, this 1, 2, 3, 4 piston is the updated one. Because if not, it has to be changed because they crack. Alright, so we got the 4, 5, 6. Let's get the planning out. Alright, so with that, we're going to have a 4-tab plastic washer that goes here. And a bearing. It'll go here. All right, the sun gear in here doesn't really matter which way this goes in. It's the same on both sides. Okay. So this one. Let's see, where's the opening? Okay. That looks okay. These again smoked like I knew they were going to be. They get it. Terrible. Okay, this I'm going to check, but I can, you know, these they Transtar cells, these Transtar cells. I'm going to get another snap ring. The snap ring got kind of hot. So let me just put that in there so I don't forget. These we don't need. All right, you got 3 rings here that I change. These are solid Teflon rings. What I do, just take one of these off. Okay. So what I do is I put the, you know, kind of very carefully with my scribe. I'll go down into the last one, and then I put a hose clamp on it for a couple of minutes, and then what I do is I put the stator on it, just some grease on it, and just make sure that it goes in good. All right, they do make resizing tools. I don't really need one, so I choose not to buy it. I've been doing it this way for years, and I've never had a problem, and I can probably get it done just as fast as using the resizing tools. All right, so there's that. You got molded pistons in here. Okay, this drum I'm going to clean up. I'll clean up the inside. I'll wire wheel the outside to make it look real nice. Okay, here's the 2.6, and we have a bearing here. Okay, lip faces down, fit right on there. Okay, let's make sure this isn't cracked. As they do, these clutches not bad, but hey, we got a banner kit coming. Okay, now this we can just take out. Okay, there's the snap ring. I believe this snap ring is the same on both sides. Belleville return, and we'll just take the piston out. Okay, the snap ring there. Okay, got a sprig. These are a little burnt. Clutches a little worn out. Not bad though. There's that. Okay, let me just pause it for a second. I'll take the, well, I could probably just take the snap ring out from here. I'll take this planet out. So let's see where the opening is. Here it is. Sometimes it's a little tough to get these things out. There we go. And then we want to, of course, now everything will come out with this ring gear here, so this has to go a certain way, so just make sure you note which way the ring gear goes. So let's take that out. All right, and there of course is another one in here. I'm going to take all this apart because this is all has all crap in it. I want to just get everything nice and clean. All right, and now this, all right, you see is flat on this side, which is going to face out, and it has a step here. So the step is going to go up. So it'll go in like this. And the snap ring, same on both sides. Okay, here, there's another snap ring, and there's a spacer, and then another ring gear. So just watch how all that goes, and again, I like to clean all this out. So that's that. You have a bearing here. Okay, and that lip faces up, and it's going to go into there. And here's the other one. Again, the lip's got to go this way. Lip is going to face the planet. Okay. That. All right. So what we'll do is we could just go ahead and pull this Tecum off, and then that's really about it. Oh, you know what? I want to open that other drum for you guys, but let's do this first. All right. So we're going to move the lock out of the way. That is the range switch. All right, now we're going to take these are 7mm, 10mm, 8mm, two of them. Now, if you ever change one of these Tecums, what they say in the manual is to tighten these two. We're going to snug everything down here, and then we're going to torque it down. I don't know, maybe 80, 90 inch-pounds, but snug everything down, including these, but do these last. Torque these last. That's what it says in the manual. All right, we gotta disconnect our speed sensors. I just had one of these go bad, a set of speed sensors. It's not very common, but not bad. All right, so I'm gonna just push down and out. Okay, there we go. So we'll take a look at this. It did have pressure switch codes, but possibly because there was no pressure getting to the pressure switches, that's possibly why I could have said, or the laminate discs are no good. So let's take a look. All right, so here is my 7. And if the laminate discs are no good, I do have a video on rebuilding the Tecum. That's pretty common in the earlier ones when you have the pressure switch codes. Okay. 10s. Now we'll get the 8, 2 of them. Just take a look. No, there's no laminate disc really out of place, but the codes were probably because there was no pressure because the filter was clogged. So this is the Tecum here. All right, and again the range switch, manual valve. You got to make sure you put the range. If you ever have to change this, easy enough to do. Just make sure you put it into the manual valve. And the best way to order this Tecum is there is the GM part number right here. This one says 242-61870. That's the best way to ensure you get the right one. I mean, if you want it before you get to work on the car, you order it through the VIN number. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just going to go over to the foot press, and I'm going to take the snap ring out. We'll take the molded piston out. We'll take a look at this. It's probably not the updated one, but we're going to take a look. All right, I will be right back. All right, so here is the snap ring. Took it out. Here is the balance piston. It's going to be changed. The Belleville return spring with these face up, and let me just dump this oil. And now this piston will come out, and this does not look like the updated one. There is a way to tell. So I have these pliers that I use, because if it is the updated one, you can use it over, but I grab it here, 180 degrees around, here, and up. Turn this, there's a snap ring. All right, so this piston likes to crack. I've seen it before, and it stops moving forward. But the updated piston, which I'm going to show you, I have one. I actually have a transmission I take apart for parts, and it is the updated one. It's used, but it's still updated, and it's fine to use. You know, it came out of another transmission that I needed some parts out of. So this is not the updated one. It usually says the word Gibbs, G-I-B-B-S, and this does not say that. All right, so let me just put you guys on hold. I want to get the bell housing I'm going to be using, and I'll get the updated piston as well. Okay, so here is the bell housing I'm going to be using. I'm going to wash this up in my tank because I don't really use the ones with the one hole that much, but I always keep one in stock. But, I mean, look how mirror finish that is. Perfect. So I always send these out whenever I get it, 2-3 bell housings at a time, and also the supports here. This one is already done with all updated pressure regulator valve. All these valves have been taken out and cleaned and checked, and then I'm going to transfer the shaft, you know, the support over. There's a gasket that goes here, and there's an O-ring that goes in here, which come in the kit. That's the Trans-Tech kit. So this is going to be matched here, and here is my updated 1, 2, 3, 4 piston. It says Gibbs right in here. I don't know if you can see that. Also here, that's how you know it is the updated piston. All right, and of course, for the valve body, O-ring end plugs, new Tecum clutch select valve kit for the clutch select valves. It's a different style valve, springs, and you put the O-ring end plugs in. All new pistons, they're all AC Delco pistons. The molded ones, of course, the aluminum ones get new seals. And then we'll get this thing flushed out, because it may be bad because the filter was clogged. So we're also going to be doing cooler lines on this because the lines are leaking, so I have those coming as well. And we'll get this thing fixed up and get this guy back on the road ASAP. All right, so again, it's a 2012 Chevy Tahoe with a 5.3. It is a 4x4 6L80 trans. Typical problem of a clogged filter. Now, I think the filter clogged because of the converter, and due to lack of line pressure, we burned out the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's totally smoked the 5, 4, 5, 6. The rest of the, clutches are, okay, but of course I got a banner kit coming. Everything is getting changed anyway. Especially with 172,000 miles on it. And I have my new pump bushing that I'm going to be pressing in. This is Durabond Teflon coated pump bushing that's going to be pressed in. And I don't have the converter yet, but I do have the existing converter that came out. The neck is okay. I looked at it, so I can fit it on that once I only press the bushing in. All right, let's take the pressure reg valve out and see what that looks like. There's the retainer pin there, comes right out. Just take the pressure off of it by pushing in the boost valve. All right, this will come out. You got a little valve in there. You want to make sure you don't lose that. Okay, you got a little bumper spring, pressure regulator valve, which is going to be changed because I put in the transverse set, but I don't have. This one, a lot of times when you pull these out, these things are way worn out. This one really doesn't look too bad, but regardless, it's getting changed. Regardless, it's going to get changed. Let me see if I can actually find one, because I do these all the time, and I still have some parts left over. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is one that I just did. And if you can see, look how worn out this is here. Here and here. When I turn it, that's what normally happens to these. That's why we do the transgo valve. And the transgo valve has the longer lands. So if there's an area that's worn out in the bore, it'll catch on a better part. It'll catch on a good part of the land or on the bore, and your hydraulic issues, you know, bring it back to the integrity of the hydraulic circuit. So this gets changed, and this gets changed, and there's a spring seat. You know, there's just a valve, and then there's the separate seat from Transgo, and then there's the spring, and then you put the boost valve and the bumper spring reused. And when you buy the kit, you have enough for 3 transmissions. All right, so that's it on this 2012 Chevy Tahoe 5.3 6L80. The problem with this transmission, of course, was a clogged screen due to a bad torque converter. And of course, it cuts the line pressure, smoked the 4, 5, 6, burnt out the 1, 2, 3, 4, but all the clutches, you know, I got a banner kit, which is the, now the way Transtar does it is the banner kit used to be overhaul kit, pistons, and clutches. Now it's overhaul kit and clutches, and you buy the piston kit separately. I think it comes out to about the same thing, unless they're making a little more. I really never had time to figure it out, but I get pretty good deals from my rep anyway. So that's it. Banner kit, piston kit. It's getting the pump in the stator, the machined one. The Tecum is going to be new. I'll program that myself. The valve body, O-ring end plugs, clutch select valve kit. Because the valves that are currently in there do have the tendency to stick, was P070 I think it's 751 code. That's it. 751 code. So I changed those, and when I put those new clutch select valves in from the Transgo kit, I drop it in, make sure that you hear them hit and bounce. If they don't do that, then you really got to clean out the bore until they do that. I guess that's about it. Just gonna finish tearing this thing down, and then I'm gonna leave and clean this thing up tomorrow morning. So once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next one.